Thanks for having me on the
Good
show.
morning.
Sure.
So let's kick off right there. LFP batteries, and SK On also talked about how it's going in that sector, in that segment, I should say, in 2025. What is the consideration? What's the rationale here? Is the pricing on your mind?
Well, I guess it's not the pricing, it's more on the cost side, and then it's the customer wants, not just high nickel pouch technology that we have been focusing on. So it's for us more customer diversification and business portfolio diversification.
Where you sit, it's really about overseeing the marketing and obviously project management and purchasing, which is perfect, by the way. To tell us what your clients are thinking about and doing, or at least saying in negotiations, what are you detecting? What are you seeing in 2023 from your clients? Are they worried about demand slowing down? Are they fretting over higher interest rates, economic slowdown? What is it?
I guess they're more focused on long-term and mid-term, because if you look at EV market, it's still penetrating. It's not still at the critical mass. Where we typically focus is North America today. So they want longer range. So I think our product perfectly meets the demand of the customers. But going forward, obviously, our customers want diversification of their offerings too. So, for example, any car with longer driving miles, they offer our batteries, which is high nickel pouch technology. But at the same time, some people just commute for a day back and forth, so they don't need the long range vehicles. So in that case, I think LFP technology fits. And although we have been focusing on high nickel technology, we have bookshelf LFP as well. So depending on our progress with some of the potential customers and partners, we may introduce that technology also in the near future.
Okay. Somewhat of a major story that came out last week regarding one of your clients, which is Ford, and one of your competitors, CATL in China. They are pausing their joint battery plant in Michigan. Lots of moving parts around that story. Obviously, the auto workers strike, and also some lawmakers push back against the idea because of the U.S.-China competition and so on. You don't have to comment on your client or a competitor, but what's your internal discussion about this? How are you digesting this story? Does this mean SK On has a better, stronger position over other Chinese competitors?
Well, I'll like to think so, but then at the same time, we talk to our customer and partner Ford all the time, because we have a massive JV coming up as we speak out of Tennessee and Kentucky, and that's our priorities, and that's their priorities too, because they're launching for all the Ford iconic vehicles, such as all new F-Series full electric, Explorers and Transit vans. So they're all iconic vehicles. So I guess our mutual priority is to make sure our JV Blue Oval SK launches well for those upcoming launches.
SK On has been pretty aggressive with capital raising, pre-IPO round, some capital injection from the mother company SK Innovation, and knocking on the DCM market for your very first corporate bonds as well. Obviously, it's really about the CapEx production ramp up. What's next in terms of your capacity ramp up? Are you looking at Korea, the US, Hungary, or elsewhere even?
Well, definitely North America with the IRA, it's definitely boosting all the business for electric vehicles. And obviously we just mentioned Ford JV, and then as you know, we have a local customer, Hyundai. We just created another JV out of Atlanta, Georgia, another JV for supporting their mega plant operations out of Savannah, and potentially 3 other existing manufacturing site for future conversion to the electric vehicles. So right now, at least through middle of the decade, we're pretty much focused on North America. And we do have global footprint, and the other footprints are pretty much staying in course and keeping at the high utilization of the capacity.
I wonder why you decided to involve this battery materials maker, EcoPro-BM, in your three-way joint venture in Canada. So basically, battery materials company, SK On, the battery maker, and for the EV maker in this alliance. Why did you need to go further into the value creation chain?
Well, it's the cost structure. As you mentioned, Chinese players that have an enviable value stream, especially up in the upstream areas, and then for the security of the materials for our batteries and for the electric vehicle manufacturing too. So we would like to move up further and expand our positions in the upstream as well.
Okay, and really quickly, I do want to get your line regarding Inflation Reduction Act. Is it a positive, or is it a big source of uncertainty at the moment? What's your communication with the Biden administration in terms of how expansive this foreign entity of concern will be? Because if they go really hard and strict with this definition, you cannot source from Chinese materials makers the minerals. What are you going to do?
We keep looking. We keep looking. Anything outside of China, anything inside of the regulation, and that's why we created a JV. And then we're trying to expand further into the upstream areas to make sure. As you mentioned, we have a big capacity going into North America, but then without the supply chain, it's always vulnerable. So we're trying to make sure this portion of the supply chain is secure and still IRA compliant. So it's a must to meet. And then good thing is that we have our existing footprint, Atlanta, Georgia, which was already put in way before IRA, before COVID, and then we painfully ramped it up through COVID. Now it's running at scale, and then we're receiving credit for it. And then we mentioned second JV with Ford, and then third one going in with HMG. So, and then all of that capacity will be up and running, full capacity within the IRA period. So I think it's a positive for our business for sure.
Min, thank you so much for taking out the precious time this morning